Welcome to the French Drayman channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood. I'm going to show you how we go about installing one of our duplex systems in a basement. It's really difficult to get video footage because there's very little room in these furnace rooms, mechanical areas, whether it's under a home in a crawl space or in a back room in a basement. But I'm going to do my best with some footage that I have. Let's take you through the job. All right, we're going to replace this backup. They no longer need it. It used to run the backup sump when power would go out for 18 hours. Two large deep cell batteries on a trickle charger. This is a standard sump pit. They're 18 inches in diameter, 24 inches deep. There's two sump pumps in here, the backup and the primary. We're going to put in a chambered sump pump basin. We're going to bust the concrete out, and we're going to make that our primary basin. That's going to be the one, and I'll explain as we go through this process why that's going to be the primary pump. The secondary pump is going to go in the existing sump pit. So I'll take you guys through a series on how to do this. This will cut down how much your sump pump runs, and I'll explain all those benefits. The first thing you need to do is see where all your floor drains go. It's really easy to track them with a utility tracker. If you go inside your floor drains, you can go to your original sump pump pit, stick in a fish tape, just a steel wire, and with a utility tracker, you can track where that pipe goes. That way you know where to break out the concrete. Of course, you're going to want to keep your duplex system up close to the wall. That way it's out of the way. One of the most important things, you want to leave your sump pump pit fully together and working, because even though the sump pump has a hard time keeping up, it's going to dewater the subsurface, allowing you to dig a hole and put in your duplex system. Now, if you don't do this, you're going to make your job 10 times more difficult. You have to keep the original sump pump basin in with the sump pump working and dewatering underneath the home so that you can actually dig and get your system in place. You're going to keep your original sump pump basin. There's no reason to dismantle it. The water will fill the basin and it'll end up pouring out of a new hole that you're going to make, because once you have your duplex system in place, you can then put in the balance tube. The balance tube is going to be low in the old crock, in the old sump pump pit, and it's going to drop into the new duplex system. I recommend removing all shelving and anything in the work area. We had a lot in this furnace room, this mechanical area, this one room with all the mechanicals. We had a difficult time because there was some shelving that was fastened right to the concrete basement wall. So I really encourage removing anything on the floor, and if there's some shelving that is removable, get it out of your way. So what I'm showing you is the balance tube. The balance tube, we take a hole saw, and then we put in one of our compression fittings, our rubber compression fittings. And then we take some 4-inch SDR 35 PVC, that balance tube connected to our duplex system, and it connected into the old sump pump basin. So you want the rubber grommet on both units, both the old sump pump basin and the new sump pump basin, the duplex. That way you don't have any migration of soil underneath the floor, and you're not pumping out and creating a hollow spot where the concrete is. I've seen it many times where contractors didn't have a good fit, and the sump pump would actually pump dirt from out from underneath the concrete and create big voids in the underneath the floor. And this will be a problem. One day you're going to end up with a big cracked area and possibly even the floor drop on you. So really take those compression, fittings, those rubber seals, those gaskets around the SDR, PVC, Schedule 35. Take that serious. Make sure to use those when you put in your balance tube. So we put on our balance tube, and this is already filling up with water. We had one of the pipes that ran underneath the floor actually was right in the path of where we wanted to put the duplex system. If you can, it's always so much easier to install the duplex system indoors if you can avoid coming across one of those pipes underneath the concrete floor. If you can find a place to set your duplex system and avoid having to redo any of the plumbing underneath the floor, it's going to reduce headache and it's going to make the install 10 times easier. Another thing to consider is you're dropping in a fully assembled unit where you watched us through this video literally build a unit indoors in the house there. We just built it, where we actually do all the plumbing and everything and ship it right to your door. So all you have to do is the excavation and get it in place. Comes through the footer. Got the inside. You can hear it fill in the chamber. A lot of water pouring in here. A lot of water. All right, we took the run time from 30 seconds to 30 minutes. Can you just hear it? Filling up. Got the outside drain tile tied in. That's the footer. You go through the footer. Inside drain tiles tied in. Now, instead of every 30 seconds, this works out really nice. And because we plumbed it in seamless, fittingless, PVC Schedule 40, it's not like the rigid pipe. The rigid pipe, it literally just resonates. Man, listen how silent that is. It's on. So it'll run longer. That's what it's supposed to do. It's going to run longer. All right. So now that'll go for an extended period of time before it goes on again. But listen how silent that was. I mean, I had to stick the mic down in the sump just so that you guys could see that it was on. Unlike this was the primary before. Now this becomes the primary because we put it in deeper than the original sump. The original sump is now a secondary. So if the day ever comes, say 15 years from now, and that brand new Liberty sump pump finally gives it up, this will start running. That's how this is set up. We're connected. And we use the rubber compression fittings. Just everything that you guys see us do on the outside and more, we bring indoors now. All right, guys, until the next video. Have you ever really looked at an indoor sump pump basin? Have you ever really felt an indoor sump pump basin? How thin the material is? And how little of room there is inside it to displace water? How it tapers and gets smaller at the bottom, which makes no sense at all. It takes less water to turn this sump pump on now because it's tapered. People put blocks inside this basin so that their sump pump can be up higher where it displaces a little more water, trying to reduce the cycling. But it's still not enough because in its entirety, this doesn't displace any water. And it most certainly isn't strong enough for a lawnmower to go over. All right, guys. After all that, how can you extend the life of your sump pump? How can you build an outdoor storm system that handles the kind of rain that comes off your roof, comes off your driveway, comes off your yard? This cycling that wears out sump pumps, 99 out of 100 are worn out at the switch. 99 out of 100 sump pump failures are due to the frequent on-off. The short cycling of a sump pump. This is the death of a sump pump right here. Short cycling. What do you do to improve that? You build a chamber. You build a chamber that's extremely long. You build a chamber that will displace a lot of water. You build that chamber to have a lot of inlet so it can draw in all the water. Because you're going to run dual pumps, and to keep up with those dual pumps, you're going to need all that inlet. We got sump viewers so you don't have to pop the hood to see what's going on. Half-inch inlets throughout. And you want to know what it's made out of? Culvert pipe. The same material that giant tractors, think about the equipment, the giant agricultural equipment that runs over Baughman dual wall culvert pipe. That's what we build our duplex systems out of. This is hurricane proof. Tropical storms, you name it, this is the way to go. You have your primary, and when your primary fails, you got your secondary.